Disrespect never starts loud. It begins quietly. A smirk, a tone, a small joke that cuts a little too deep. Ignore it once and you've already lost, because disrespect isn't random, it's a test. And every time you let it slide, you're teaching people exactly how to treat you. Machiavelli understood this long before anyone else. Respect isn't given, it's enforced. The subtle beginning of disrespect. Disrespect doesn't always start loud. It doesn't walk into your life with insults or shouting. It begins quietly, almost gently, with something that feels too small to matter. A smirk you decide to ignore. A joke that cuts just a little too deep. A tone that feels slightly off, but you tell yourself not to overreact. That's how it begins. Softly, invisibly. Not because people don't know what they're doing, but because they're testing what you'll allow. The first time you let it slide, you teach them something important. That your boundaries are flexible. That your silence means permission. And once that lesson is learned, the disrespect grows. It doesn't explode. It spreads, bit by bit, word by word, moment by moment, until one day you realize you've been trained to accept it. Most people confuse patience with maturity. They think staying calm is the same as being strong. But calmness without correction is surrender in disguise. You're not being wise when you ignore disrespect. You're simply giving someone the green light to keep doing it. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He believed respect isn't something people hand you out of kindness. It's something you enforce through presence, confidence, and consequence. So when someone crosses that line, even in small ways, it's not rude to speak up. It's necessary, because every act of disrespect you tolerate becomes a silent message that shapes how others will treat you in the future. And the truth is simple. If you don't protect your dignity in the small moments, you'll lose it completely in the big ones. Respect isn't requested. It's enforced, quietly, firmly, and without apology. The test of strength. When someone disrespects you, it's rarely just about words. They're not simply being rude, careless, or emotional. They're observing you, quietly testing you, to see what kind of person you really are. Every small act of disrespect is a measurement, a question hidden beneath their behavior. Can I cross this line and still be safe? Can I take a little more without facing a consequence? And when you stay silent, even once, you give them the answer. Your silence tells them, yes, you can. Yes, you can interrupt me. Yes, you can ignore my boundaries. Yes, you can talk down to me, and I'll let it slide. This is how control begins, not with force, but with permission. Disrespect is never random. It's strategic. It's a way to test how far someone can go before you push back. And once they learn that you won't, they stop seeing you as strong. They see you as manageable. Most people believe ignoring disrespect is maturity. They think it shows emotional intelligence or peace. But in reality, ignoring it often teaches the wrong lesson. It tells the world that your peace is built on silence, not self-respect. The truth is, boundaries don't have to be loud to be firm. You don't need to fight or shout to defend yourself. Sometimes strength is as simple as saying, "That's not okay," and meaning it, or walking away from people who mistake your calmness for weakness. Machiavelli once said that people respect power, not kindness, and he was right. Respect doesn't grow in the space where silence protects pride. It grows where self-worth demands recognition. So the next time someone disrespects you, don't ask, "Why did they do that?" Ask, What did I allow? Because every moment you let disrespect pass unchallenged, you're not keeping the peace. You're surrendering it. And the real test of strength is not how quietly you endure, but how confidently you draw the line. Machiavellian truth. Kindness is not a shield. The truth is, people who get walked over are not weak. They're misunderstood. They mistake kindness for strength and silence for peace. They believe that by being gentle, patient, and forgiving, others will see their goodness and respect them for it. But the world doesn't work that way. In a world built on power, attention, and control, kindness without boundaries becomes a weakness. People don't always respect kindness. They exploit it. They see your calmness as compliance, your forgiveness as forgetfulness, and your empathy as an open door they can walk through whenever they want. Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology gave it a name. He knew that human nature is self-interested. People push as far as they're allowed. If you don't define your limits, others will define them for you. That's why kindness alone isn't enough. Kindness without strength invites manipulation. Real kindness is not blind. It doesn't ignore bad behavior or tolerate disrespect. It chooses who to help, when to forgive, and where to stop. It's not about pleasing everyone. It's about staying true to your own values while protecting your energy. Being kind doesn't mean turning the other cheek to every insult. It means knowing which battles are beneath you and which boundaries are sacred. It means being generous with compassion, but ruthless with self-respect. Machiavelli would say, "The wise man does good when it serves his purpose, and stops when it doesn't." That isn't cruelty, it's control, because the most dangerous kindness is the one guided by clarity, not guilt. So don't hide behind kindness hoping it will protect you. It won't. Use it as a tool, not a shield. Be calm, but not silent. Be kind, but not naive. Be forgiving, but not forgetful. True kindness walks beside strength. It gives when it chooses, not when it's demanded. And when people realize that your kindness has limits, that's the moment they start to respect you. Weapon 1. Silence. Silence can be more dangerous than any word you speak, but only when it's controlled, because not all silence is equal. There's a silence born from fear, and a silence born from power. Weak silence comes from insecurity. When you don't know what to say, when you freeze, or when you let others decide your worth. It's the silence of surrender. But strong silence is different. It's deliberate. It's the calm before the storm. The moment when you choose not to waste your energy proving a point. When someone mocks you, when they talk over you, or throw a sarcastic jab just to get a reaction. Don't argue. Don't defend yourself. Just stop. Look at them. Hold the moment. Let the weight of your quietness fill the space between you. Soon, they'll start to feel it. That uncomfortable pressure. That invisible mirror reflecting their own disrespect back at them. Because silence forces people to face themselves. And most people can't handle that. Words are predictable. Silence isn't. Words tell people what you're thinking. Silence makes them guess. And people fear what they can't read, what they can't control, what they don't understand. That's why the most powerful people in any room are often the quietest. They don't chase validation. They don't rush to explain. They let others expose themselves through noise while they stay still, unshaken. Machiavelli would say that power lies not in what you reveal, but in what you withhold. And silence is the purest form of that control. It shows discipline, self-command, and strength that doesn't need recognition. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, don't react. Pause. Stay calm. Let them feel your absence of words, like a weight pressing on their ego. Because your silence, when used with purpose, becomes a weapon sharper than any insult. Affirmation. My silence speaks louder than words. Weapon 2. Relentless consistency. Setting a boundary once means nothing. Anyone can say, "Don't cross this line." But the real test begins after that, when people start pushing to see if you'll stand by your words. Human nature is predictable. People will keep testing you until they find your weakness. If you give in once, even a little, they'll remember. They'll think, it only takes a little pressure to make you fold. That's why power isn't built through big moments. It's built through repetition. If you enforce your standards sometimes, you don't truly have any. Because boundaries that bend too easily become suggestions, not rules. So be consistent every single time. If they interrupt you, stop speaking. If they mock you, don't react. Don't smile. Don't explain. Stay cold. Stay calm. Move on as if they don't exist. That moment of quiet control will say more than any argument ever could. People respect what they can predict. If every time they cross a line, they face the same calm, firm reaction, they'll stop crossing it. Not because they suddenly care, but because they know what's coming. And predictability builds fear, and fear, when it's quiet and controlled, builds respect. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that power doesn't come from loud threats. It comes from reputation. A reputation for never bending, never losing your composure, and never forgetting where the line is drawn. Consistency is how leaders are made. It's how trust is earned, and how manipulation dies. Because the moment people realize they can't sway you with emotions, guilt, or pressure, they stop trying. So don't explain your standards. Live them. Let your actions repeat the same message over and over until no one dares to test you again. Affirmation. My standards never bend. Weapon 3. Disproportionate response. Never respond equally. Respond strategically. When someone disrespects you, they expect a predictable reaction. Anger, defense, or a loud argument. That's what they want. They want to pull you into their emotional chaos so they can control the frame. But when you stay calm and respond in a way they didn't expect, you flip the balance of power instantly. They make a joke at your expense. Don't laugh. Don't defend yourself. Just go silent. Look at them for a moment, then leave. Your absence becomes the punishment, because silence and distance hurt the ego more than confrontation ever could. They show up late. Stop inviting them. They question your choices. Stop explaining. They break your trust. Remove access, not loudly, but permanently. This is what Machiavelli would call the art of controlled consequence. You don't need revenge. You don't need to raise your voice. You just need to show, through your actions, that every disrespect has a price, and you always collect it quietly. People remember calm consequences. They forget words, but they never forget how your silence or withdrawal made them feel. That cold distance becomes a mirror, reflecting their behavior back at them until it stings. And here's the secret. The goal isn't to hurt them. It's to teach them that your respect has value, your time has limits, and your tolerance has an end. Most people lose power because they react emotionally. They match disrespect with noise. But emotional reactions make you predictable. Strategic reactions make you powerful. So the next time someone crosses your line, don't fight for their understanding. Make them feel the loss of your presence. Because sometimes, the quiet withdrawal of your energy is the loudest message of all. Greater than affirmation, my reactions teach others how to treat me. The aura of power, crafting the dark image. Power doesn't come from being the loudest person in the room. It comes from being the one who doesn't need to speak to be noticed. True power is quiet. It moves slowly, deliberately, and it makes others feel its presence without explanation. People often mistake dominance for noise. They think shouting, showing off, or proving themselves earns respect. But real authority doesn't chase attention. It attracts it. It's the calm, unshaken energy that makes others watch what you'll do next. Not because you demanded it, but because your presence pulls them in. Move with purpose. Speak slowly. Never over-explain. When you talk less, your words carry more weight. When you stay composed under pressure, you create mystery. And mystery is magnetic. Machiavelli understood that perception is power. If people believe you hold control, they'll treat you as if you do, even before you act. That's why your image matters. Not fake confidence, not arrogance, but composure. Your calmness becomes unsettling. Your silence makes others nervous. They start second-guessing themselves around you, wondering what you're thinking, what you'll say, what you'll do. Over time, people stop testing you, not because you threaten them, but because your restraint makes them cautious. They can't read you, they can't predict you, and what people can't predict, they respect or fear. The dark image isn't about being cruel or emotionless. It's about carrying yourself with quiet certainty. It's the power that comes from not reacting, not explaining, not rushing to fill silence. It's the confidence of someone who knows their value and doesn't need to prove it. Because when your energy is calm and contained, others feel it. They sense that you know exactly who you are, and that certainty commands respect more than any words ever could. Affirmation: my presence commands respect. The master's eye, turning disrespect into intelligence. The highest level of power isn't control, it's awareness. When you stop reacting to disrespect and start studying it, you move from emotion to mastery. Most people take disrespect personally. They feel hurt, angry, or defensive. But those emotions blur the truth. Because every act of disrespect is not just an attack. It's information. It tells you exactly who you're dealing with and what they're hiding behind their behavior. When someone insults you, it's rarely about you. It's about their insecurity trying to speak louder than their silence. Every insult reveals jealousy. Jealousy of what you have, who you are, or what they can't control. When someone gives you a fake smile, it reveals fear. Fear of your confidence, your independence, or your progress. They pretend to be friendly, but their eyes tell the truth. And when someone overreacts to your boundaries, it exposes guilt. The guilt of knowing they were benefiting from your silence. This is emotional X-ray vision. It lets you see beneath the surface, past the noise, into the truth of human nature. Disrespect becomes your data. Every tone, every gesture, every small betrayal tells you where people stand. Machiavelli would say, the wise man never hates his enemies. He studies them. When you see disrespect this way, it loses its power over you. You stop being controlled by it, and you start using it. You begin to map people's intentions, predict their moves, and protect your energy with precision. This is what separates the reactive from the powerful. The reactive get offended. The powerful get informed. So don't rush to defend your worth. Let people expose themselves through their own words. And every time they do, take note, quietly. Because once you learn to read disrespect as information, no one can manipulate you again. You won't be blindsided. You won't be fooled. You'll see the truth before anyone else does. Affirmation. Disrespect reveals truth. The more you enforce respect, the less you'll ever need to ask for it. Your silence, your consistency, your calm power, they'll speak for you. The wrong people will fade away. The right ones will draw closer, and your world will grow quieter, sharper, stronger. Because true power isn't loud. It's the calm confidence of someone who no longer tolerates less than they deserve. Drop this in the comments. Greater than disrespect sharpens my awareness. And if this resonated with you, subscribe for more Machiavellian psychology, where philosophy meets power.